Mr. Speaker, I move to recognize the representative from Party-list TUCP, Honorable Raymond Democrito C. Mendoza, the newly appointed Secretary General of ASEAN Trade Union Council, to avail of the privilege hour.
The Honorable Raymond Democrito Mendoza of the TUCP Party List is recognized. Please proceed.
Maraming salamat, daghang salamat, my fellow Deputy Speaker, Sir, my colleagues, and most especially, nagbigay ng parangal, and those gave me honor this afternoon, to Deputy Speaker Janet Garin. And we have to congratulate Nanay Doc, not only as a Deputy Speaker, but also a nanay of a new lawyer, the board member, Rica Garin. So congratulations to Deputy Speaker Janet Garin, bagong abogado. And thank you to Cotabato Congresswoman Kong Samantha Santos. Thank you on behalf of the workers of this country, and of course, now more than ever, and the ASEAN. And to Kung Eli, Kamanggagawa, the name alone speaks volumes of who and what we are and what we stand for, my good friend. And I am so happy that dumami kami in 2025. I see Akbayan, I see Makabayan, and all the groups of advocacy, and that gives good name to the party list that we so deserve. Most especially, we are very passionate in what we do as members of this House, as members, particularly of the Party List Coalition Foundation Incorporated. That being said, sir, once again, Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, mga kababayan ko, I rise today on the matter of personal and collective privilege, not only as a legislator, a labor leader, but as a General Secretary of the ASEAN Trade Union Council, to assert that workers should have a seat and say in both the ASEAN and Aipa. I'm talking about the Association of Southeast Asian Nations and us, tayo, ASEAN Inter-Parliamentary Assembly. For more than 20 years, Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, the ASEAN Business Advisory Council, the ASEAN BAC, has been the principal platform of business leaders across our region. But it is labor that built ASEAN. It is workers who power the regional growth and integration every single day. And the ASEAN Trade Union Council, established in 1983, co-founded by a very own TUCP founder, Attorney Democrito C. Mendoza, is the regional voice of labor in here in Southeast Asia. So why is labor? The question, therefore, is why is labor not yet formally recognized as the official partner of ASEAN and Aipa? It is high time. It is long overdue, and it must happen as soon as possible. Because today, Mr. Speaker, the challenges we face are enormous. Socioeconomic uncertainty, climate disruption, geopolitical instability, supply chain shocks, rising costs of living, and often the world changes rapidly. It is the workers who are left behind. We cannot talk about economic legislation without labor. We cannot talk about social cohesion without workers. And we can never talk about climate transition without the people whose jobs will be transformed. For instance, on climate change, ASEAN and AIPA cannot meaningfully and comprehensively discuss and develop just transition mechanisms to leave no one, especially the marginalized and the vulnerable, behind without the ASEAN Trade Union Council. Because there's no such thing, Mr. Speaker, there's no such thing as just transition without workers at the table. So we need that voice in that table. Nothing about us without us. As the principal author of the Department of Migrant Workers, DMW, while I welcome the ASEAN TUC has been regularly represented in the ASEAN Forum of Migrant Labor, AFML, and by the way, Mr. Speaker, we have a seat in the International Labor Organization based in Geneva, Switzerland, and all other international conferences. We are there. But I strongly feel that for our heroic contribution and sacrifice to our countries, the plight of migrant workers must not be just tackled by a specialized regional tripartite forum. It must be elevated and addressed through a whole of region approach, such as ASEAN and Aipa, because we protect and promote the welfare of migrant workers and their families. We strengthen our nations and the entire Southeast Asian region. It is important to note at this point, Mr. Speaker, there's a battle in the Middle East. Our seafarers are members. They are very stressed at the same time. They have to work, especially in the constricted area of Strait of Hormuz. But I am happy to report to you that the MW and of course the members of the industry, that they have recognized the right of every seafarer, the right to refuse to sail. And that's good because they are thinking of their families. But in that sense also, our members in the airline industry are also very stressed because they also would like to have that same right, the right to refuse to fly. The right to refuse to fly, Mr. Speaker, in those conflicted areas. And hopefully a policy direction should be made. So, under the leadership of President Ferdinand Bongbong R. Marcos Jr. as the ASEAN Chair this year, 2026, and our very own Speaker Faustino Boji D. III as the Aipa President this year, this representation, on a personal note, had the honor to receive the Aipa flag in Kuala Lumpur on behalf of the Speaker, on behalf of us in the House of Representatives. But this also representation is also together with every working family across the region, looks forward very strongly and very confidently to the ASEAN TUC being formally recognized as the official partner of ASEAN and Aipa. Because when that happens, Southeast Asia will not just talk about, but acting on the most pressing workers' demands. Not only in the Philippines, it also happens in the rest of the 10 other Southeast members of the ASEAN, Southeast Asian region. Living wages, not just equal wages, but wages that people can actually live on. Security of tenure, not only with the duration of a fixed-term contract, but real security from day one. Labor rights to organize, bargain collectively, regardless of what sector they belong. Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, my colleagues, the ASEAN Charter, if you look at it, speaks about enhancing the well-being and the livelihood of our people and about equitable access to human development, social welfare, and justice. Together, this House, the House of the people, together, let us make sure that in ASEAN and in Aipa, labor does not stand outside knocking on the door, but inside through ASEAN Trade Union Council towards a Southeast Asia that is not only integrated, but also very, very inclusive. Daghang salamat, maraming salamat, and for mabuhay ang manggagawang Pilipino, and long live to the workers of Southeast Asia. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Mendoza. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to refer the speech of the distinguished gentleman from TUCP to the Committee on Rules for appropriate action.
There any objection? Chair hears none. The speech of Honorable Mendoza is referred to the Committee on Rules.